Welcome to the Hero Escape Podcast, your weekly escape from trying to figure out how Batman beat the Flash. I am one of your three co-hosts, Fudley McDonnerpants, and I'm joined by...
Sir Hominum Tantamount.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
Nice to meet you. And I am Die Harder.
Very nice.
Yes, very nice. Yeah. Okay, so we are welcoming you to our exciting second round of our Hero Escape podcast, Who Would Win? We're going to rattle through the entirety of round two today in our in this episode.
Yes,
and there is already going to be a lot of heartbreaking going on. A lot of fan favorites out here. I know I've already got tears and Kleenex and handy. So
it's going to be rough. So, without any further ado, it's time for Who Would Win?
People can't see that I do a little dance to that song.
Yes, and it's majestic. It's
Every
majestic in all of its
single
forms. All right. All right, so we will welcome you to the first matchup we have on round two, and this is where the heartbreaking begins, people. Mm-hmm. Tears will be shed.
It's going to get rough.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't know. Maybe I want to pass out and just see what happens when it's over. My heart's going to be broken either way. Our first matchup is against the first combatant is the fabled, the one and only Luke Skywalker.
Good fight.
Yes. And his...
Let me say this before we get too far into it. I don't need children yelling at me anymore about the results of this. I've received enough of it.
Very controversial.
And it's not me making the decision.
Okay.
We have a science
Luke Skywalker,
computer.
we don't even know who he's fighting yet. Luke Skywalker is facing off his old mentor, one for whom he shed tears, the great, the one, the only, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I don't want to have to do this. Let's just skip it. I can't handle it.
Do you abstain?
I recuse myself.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, we did a whole episode, Luke, I Am Your Fanboy, where I basically shed my love of Luke Skywalker and all things. We've also had...
But you're going to pick Obi-Wan?
In that same episode, Nathaniel talked about how his favorite Star Wars character is, in fact, Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is a wonderful pick, by the way. He's an amazing character. Who doesn't love Obi-Wan, right?
I know this is only audio, but I'm going to need a little assistance. So even though nobody can see this, I'll be right back. You guys carry on.
Okay. So, all right. So here's the problem. Obi-Wan Kenobi has literally given up his life to make sure Luke survives, right? If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Hold on, you got to say it with the, if you strike me down,
If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Also, Luke Skywalker could escape.
I'm bracing myself for just a terrible outcome here. I'm so conflicted about this. I had to walk over and get my 30-inch Obi-Wan Kenobi talking doll that every grown man should have in their house. He's just here for moral support. Please carry on.
I wish people could see the way that I wish people could see the way that you are
love and affection,
clinging to him.
Yeah.
Don't take any of this personally, Obi.
Look away.
Okay, so
Cover his ears.
I will say, remember Obi-Wan in episode 3, dealing with Sith is our speciality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't handle him; he's a Sith Lord. And then now, Obi-Wan has proven he can take out the Jedi more powerful than, i.e., an Anakin Skywalker, when he has
the high ground.
That's right.
Right?
Anything really, but yeah, the high ground.
ground, yeah.
A lightsaber, a toothpick, whatever.
I don't remember reading or hearing about his mastering forms of toothpick fighting, but I'm sure that
I'm
Part
sure,
of
I'm
the
sure that's out there.
extended universe.
Yeah, I believe it.
it's an
I believe
extra-
it.
Disney
I believe it.
erased that.
Okay, so Luke is the seeded favorite going into it. So do we want to put it in phrases? I guess the odds here. They're both obviously legendary Force users, worthy of mention in the archives of the Jedi Order. Luke being he's the main character in the original trilogy, in which we all fell in love with Obi-Wan as well. So
I would willingly acknowledge that Luke probably, almost inevitably, has the edge in terms of the Force.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just sort of a given.
very
right?
powerful
That's
Force
why I'm
user.
conflicted. Is Obi-Wan has a storied history of mastery of the lightsaber and fighting in that way.
Yeah.
But Luke's force skill is...
Yeah. And I would say from another, I guess another way of saying what I was trying to say before, where somebody else with like the same midichlorian count as Obi-Wan would not do as good as Obi-Wan would in this situation.
Right.
Because this is what he does, fighting other Force users. He's got more experience in that than the average Jedi, as well as having to fight an old Padawan, which broke his heart to do once, and I'm sure he never wants to do again.
Yeah.
Right. So that being said, we do have to put some numbers down here and put in our analog fate odometer to rule. We have to have the battle. That's the premise here. We have to have the battle that they're resigned to the fact that they are going to fight whether they want to or not. Say a magic spell, they don't know who the other guy is. Whatever it is, they're fighting. They're going to fight till there's an obvious victor. Dave, where do you put the odds of a victory?
This is tough for me too. I mean, I also love Obi-Wan.
I think he's capable.
Though,
it's just
he's definitely capable. I mean, he's not. It's not 100% chance for Luke for sure.
Yeah.
It's an but like I said, Luke. I think even if you go by Disney's terrible decisions of late, they still rate him as a very powerful Force user.
Yeah,
and he's no slouch with a lightsaber. I probably give Luke 75 to 80% chance. I don't know if I want to go as high as 80. Do I want to go as high as 80? Do I hear 80? Come on.
Do I hear 99? 99.1.
Split the difference. 77.
Let's go 78% chance for Luke.
78% chance for Luke. Okay, I'll go next. I was similarly conflicted. I was between 75, 80. I'm gonna. I have 80. I'm gonna stick with 80. I totally see the reasonings. Yeah. Obi-Wan is capable. 20. That's me saying Obi-Wan can do this.
I feel like he can fall into that Batman category of he can want it more, and sometimes the will to want
but
it.
that was also. But that is also a characteristic of Luke too. I mean,
yeah.
His will is extremely.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
true.
just this is a very good matchup.
And this is episode 6, Luke.
At least Return of the Jedi. Yeah,
Return.
most. Yeah,
and youthful prequels, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan. Difficult.
Where do you put the number, Nathaniel? Remember, you're not killing him. The analog faithometer will do it. So
yeah,
we'll kill somebody.
The Force plays an important role when you see the fights.
Yep.
But the killing blow is always a lightsaber or something else, right? So
seems to be.
I am going to say 61% in favor of Obi-Wan based on.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean?
So you think? So he's the favorite to you. Obi-Wan is the favorite to beat Luke?
Yes. I'm being as objective as I can possibly be.
Okay.
I fully acknowledge that if they're doing like a Harry Potter Voldemort force battle through the air, right, that Luke's going to overcome him. But that's like you're thrown across the room, maybe you're thrown up in the air. But at some point, in my mind at least, it comes to blows with lightsabers, that sort of thing. And there's a martial skill that Obi-Wan has there that gives him that additional, call it the additional 11% that gives him over the 50-50 mark. So
I'm not gonna. One thing to push up. I mean, the old original trilogy, they couldn't do lightsaber action as exciting as they could, but he is the only person. One thing that I like to point out from Episode 5 for Luke that people forget is he had a kill stroke on Vader that didn't kill Vader because it hit one of the. Vader happened to have. There's very few things that the lightsaber doesn't cut through like hot butter. He had shoulder armor, and he struck Vader. Would have killed Vader, but didn't. That's when Vader gets really, really mad, knocks him and cuts up. Yeah, that's when he really takes. Luke is and that was half trained Luke. You know what I'm saying? So Vader, of course, wanting to convert Luke rather than kill him, but you know what I'm saying. So he's definitely.
If you go extended universe, Luke, he would fight with multiple lightsabers at the same time.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that before. Yeah. And then of course when Luke lets go on Vader, Vader's backing up the whole 9 yards there in Return of the Jedi. So, both. Anyways,
I would just say if you go and you read on the Wikipedia, possibly also on Wikipedia, there's a lengthy explanation of the various separate lightsaber fighting style disciplines that Obi-Wan went through and mastered throughout his life.
Okay.
To sort of combine.
So you think I want to make sure Luke has a 39% chance of beating Obi-Wan?
Correct.
Okay, that makes our total. I gave him 80, so that makes our the number to win is 66.
66. Oh, so we feed this into the computer?
Yep, let's feed this into our...
Cover your eyes, Obi.
Obi-Wan has just made the upset of a generation.
He's back on my lap again.
Oh, wow. I did not expect this.
Oh my gosh.
What do you have to say about this, Obi? Well, it wasn't an absolute, but we'll take it.
Oh my gosh. I think everybody's bracket just blew up. From those who entered brackets online, Obi-Wan, Luke is a solid Final Four for the vast majority of people.
You know, I think my son picked Obi-Wan in this, and I thought that was not a good choice, and it looks like he made a good choice.
I've always thought the Force was strong with him.
He was prescient. All right. Nathaniel's going to need his head examined at that 39%, maybe? I don't know. Just
How many Obi-Wan jokes do you think I can fit in?
Obi-Wan.
Yeah. All right, now I want
Kenobi.
Nathaniel to go to your house and let your kids yell at him.
Yeah, you might not want to show up for a long while, my house. All right, the upset. The world has just freaking crumbled. Luke Skywalker goes down. Honestly, Luke, you couldn't have lost to a better guy.
Yeah, that's...
It's okay.
Let's move on to the next match so we can
got?
find out who Obi-Wan beats.
All right, yeah. Who's up
the fanboyness is undying here. Okay.
I'm so happy right now.
All right. Okay, we need some Kleenex. Nathaniel. Clean up on aisle 5. Nathaniel is,
Either way,
is making a mess.
Tears,
yeah,
right?
tears, wiping the tears.
tears,
Okay. All right. Our next matchup, two favorites, and this is a doozy of a matchup, kind of an odds and ends one. We've got
David
the fabled, the fabled, the amazing Spider-Man versus the truly epic and grand Voltron. Together we form Voltron. So this is a true David and Goliath matchup. I think Spider-Man, technically, he was seated higher. Voltron is a giant size bigger dude. I think for Spider-Man to have a chance here, he's got to act fast. He's got to, if possible, prevent the lions from coming together, a la Ready Player One, where a bunch of the bad guys, their avatars they win after beating the second gate is they get the different lions from Voltron, but the good guys defeat the various lions before they come together to form Voltron. That's a strategy Peter Parker should employ in this match.
Hopefully he's read the book.
Yeah. So this because once they get all together, I mean, even separate, they're really, there's some space material that's relatively
if we're
indestructible.
saying it's a Voltron, they're together. They're not Voltron until they're together. So we're saying, I mean, we're not saying he's fighting the 5 lions. We're saying he's fighting Voltron.
Well, he's
defending
fighting
the
5 dumb kids, all right?
True.
Whose jaws don't move when their mouth does.
Why is our animation so weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Spider-Man, you said before, Dave, Spider-Man is underappreciated for his speed, his agility. People appreciate his
Speed,
his
agility, and strength.
His strength
and
is
Spider Sense, right? That's a major game changer right there.
We loved at the dinner table at my house who would win, and whenever Spider-Man gets thrown in the who would win arena for our discussion at our table, I always Spider Sense is hard to get around. If he can see the blow coming, it's hard to come around.
What is the killing blow for Spider-Man in this matchup?
That's what does he have an arrow in his quiver that can really hurt Voltron? I'm thinking. I'm not as smart as Peter Parker. I'm not. But I mean, he could do. Maybe have you guys ever seen that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back, where they wrap around the legs and they fall down?
That's right. Do the old snow speeder move. And,
yeah. So down goes Voltron. I don't know.
I've been thinking about this for a little while.
You know Voltron the best of us.
Voltron is
I only know little.
Very, very powerful. He's like, I mean, they say he's 100 meters. What's 100 meters in feet? I don't know. That's like
that's the length of a football field. About yards is 100 yards.
Yeah. So
he's a big dude.
It's a lot of British people all
feet or
stacked
so.
up together.
That's huge, and he's extreme. I mean, he has unexplored weaponry so far. I will say. I mean, they're
in the new one,
how,
right? I really got to watch these new episodes.
Still plumbing the depths of how powerful he is. Really,
Has Spider-Man gone up against something that colossal in size before? He's had so many villains. When you think of the villains he's defeated, it's really mind-boggling.
I wish I'd
He
done
is so
I
good.
get this feeling that whenever it gets above a certain size, there's always a collaboration, a team up,
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, because he's smart enough to not.
He's
Yeah.
gone up against some big guys by himself, but I can't. None are coming to mind.
There's not that
right
many
away.
things that
Probably some
big in
huge
the Marvel
Spider-Man
universe,
fans screaming
really.
into the thing right now.
I mean,
saying-
Sandman makes himself big sometimes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
made out of sand is how do you hurt sand?
It might seem nitpicky, but he's got to have a limited amount of web fluid as well.
Yeah.
When you're up against something this large,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as wrapping it up effectively.
Yeah, he can't.
Yeah.
He can't encase it.
Yeah.
Entomb it. You would think.
I have to feel like just the sheer number of having, all 4 limbs, I think, can shoot weaponry at him. Just the sheer number of weaponry, I think, it gives Voltron a
Do you
huge
think he can go
advantage.
Ant-Man on it though? You know what I'm saying? How Ant-Man could he got into Iron Man's armor and sort of defunct Iron Man's suit by climbing
That's an
in.
interesting
Could he go?
premise.
I mean, is this essentially that's what he is now? A really strong, tiny dude.
Yeah.
I have never
Could he go-
seen. I haven't seen all the episodes of the cartoons, but I
haven't
have
seen
never
anything
seen
like
any
that
kind of
happen.
opening happen.
Yeah.
I would think that's got to be some joint somewhere. He'd be able to get in and start making some havoc, disable a limb or two.
I tend to want to say it's possible, but because it's plausible, but I have not ever seen it demonstrated yet. Until I haven't seen it demonstrated, I don't want to give that a ton of.
Well, none of this is going to be demonstrated. We're making this all up, dude. I mean,
Well,
Wait,
I'm saying in an episode they could have they could have written something very small, some way of beating Voltron as something.
maybe they
small
should
gets
pay
in it.
attention. This is a great
Maybe
idea.
they should.
Yeah.
Maybe they should.
So at first blush, I'm thinking Voltron doesn't have or Spider-Man doesn't. What can he do? But this Ant-Man idea has me thinking. And Peter Parker, the fact that he routinely defeats people more powerful than him. Voltron is in another class. I think I got to give Spider-Man a little bit better odds than I was originally thinking. But
I know this
let's see,
weighs
you
your
went
odds,
first.
but
You went
there was-
first last time, so let's. I'll go first this time. I'll give
Can
it
I say real quick? I will say this one time I was reading. There's an old Spider-Man comic where he's talking about how superheroes size each other up, and he sort of admits to Mary Jane that if I wanted to take down the Hulk, I could take down the Hulk. So that's
Yeah, well, I mean, come on, he's bragging to Mary Jane.
yeah, that's true. He could be bragging to Mary Jane.
Do you want to see my? Yeah.
Yeah.
What we say to women doesn't. Come on, Dave. No, but yeah, Spider-Man is the amazing Spider-Man, the spectacular Spider-Man, and a million other adjectives. So, but kind of think this whole Ant-Man routine. I think I got to give Spider-Man. You think even if he gets in there to one cat, then the other 4 figure it out and make that not happen, right? Or maybe you can take out 1 or 2. But so let's say he could take out 1, maybe 2 cats. What's the percentage of cats that are left then? 3 out of 5. What's the number there?
Well, that would be
60%. So let's give Spider-Man a 40, 35, 40. I'm going to give him 37%.
A 37% chance.
Yeah, of beating Voltron.
I would consider that generous.
Really?
Yeah. So that's where I'm going to go. So Nathaniel, you go next.
My counter argument, if we're really going to nerd out here, is that
That is what we do, Nathaniel. We nerd out here.
is that what we're here to do?
Yeah.
Ant-Man, when he's shrinking down and getting into various things, those are things that are not designed in any way, shape, or form for things of that size in terms of access, going in, going out. Whereas Voltron, Spider-Man's human size, Voltron is large. Those bots are designed for humans to go in and out of, right? But he's not going to be able to get into a crack or a crevice in the armor that wasn't planned for something that small. Spider-Man is still the same size as the people that go
But
in and out of
mechanically,
Voltron.
wherever there's a joint on any, as a former engineer, a joint on any machine is a weak point.
But can he get, because Voltron is designed for space travel also, so is there any openings that are
But there is on the shuttles, and I mean, a human, you know what I'm saying? There are little tiny openings. It's a very good point. That is a
100
good
meters
point.
is big, but it's not so big that a crack or
I'm not saying he can get into the
slice.
cockpit, but access to something that helps disable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's all. But that's a fair counter argument.
It's grim in my mind for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I am 90-10. I mean,
You think Spider-Man has 10%?
I can't see a way.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
It pains me not to give Spider-Man a better chance because I love Spider-Man so much. But I tend to think, if I
He's
really
so
think
clever.
about this,
They write him so good.
but I
too,
think
right?
all that he can do is prolong the fight. Right? He can hide, he can evade, he can elude, but he can never damage Voltron.
He's pretty funny. Maybe he cracks jokes and those stupid kids just start laughing on the floor.
That's true.
Yeah.
All over the control system. And
That's why I feel like I tend to feel like he can.
He's a crowd pleaser.
He cannot damage Voltron, and that you have to at some point you got to go on offense to win the game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think he can damage him, but like I don't think he'll ever get directly to the people.
I'm going to use your words. I use your words, David.
What?
He has not a quiver in his arrow that can.
Okay.
A
If
quiver
he thinks that,
an
that's
arrow
fine.
in his
Yeah.
quiver that can
Okay.
hurt.
So what's your number? I'm fine with that.
I feel like I'm going to be. I'm going to, because again, sometimes it comes down to will. So I will give Spider-Man a 25% chance.
even if he takes his mask off and he's got the eyeliner and the Tobey Maguire emo dance and the music starts and then Voltron's just like, I can't bring myself to. I give up.
Somehow.
No, hold on. Maybe it augments if he does have the black suit on, because the black suit, the symbiote suit, has unlimited webbing. So I don't know. But I'm going to go still 25%.
Okay, so the average odds we give this recently deceased
That one's
A New
over.
Hope is dead. Spider-Man's odds 24% is our composite score. 24%. David,
There is enough here for an upset.
yeah, that's exactly the yeah. That was the odds.
Okay.
Not much better than Obi-Wan's
Are we
chances.
feeding it into the computer?
Yeah, let's feed it into the computer. Let's see what the Fatanometer
Hold on.
spits out. Oh, dude, I'm just pretending Luke is not dead. I can't handle this. So 24 is the number to beat. Voltron has retired Peter Parker.
Sorry, Peter. Take your participation trophy and go home, I guess.
Participation trophy. Oh man. Okay. We mourned the loss of Peter Parker and one Luke Skywalker, but there's no time for tears. We've got another thunderclap of a match coming up. One that many things will be broken before it is done. This one would sell many tickets.
I like it.
In the ring, we have the Incredible Hulk versus King Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay,
All right.
the mighty, the one. He's the king of the jungle. King Kong.
I'm going to cut right to the chase on this. Hulk, 99% chance.
Woo! Woo!
It's true there is a size difference, but in terms of portrayed strength,
Hulk's
and
the
all
strongest
that,
one there is. We all know that.
That's my superpower. Just like, because I'm bad. So this does seem like the warm-up character to a Hulk movie, right? Like, this is what Hulk does. He fights big monsters. Like, this is what you love to see Hulk do.
Yeah.
Fight big monsters, right?
Yeah.
Cue up Ragnarok soundtrack. What? Fight big monster, right? For once, Hulk, don't smash. No, this is the case where Hulk you smash, right?
Yeah.
King Kong, but there's no version of this battle where the terrain isn't leveled, though, right? I mean, things are getting broken.
Yeah.
If you had tickets to this one, David's passion for action and destruction might be sated watching this.
It might be. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I initially had it at 85% chance Hulk, but I'm thinking it's got to be at least 90. So it's got to be at least 90. Bare bottoms. Hulk wins. What do you say?
There's a big size gap. Presumably, there is a sort of muscle density, strength and power density thing happening with Hulk that allows his punches and whatnot to impact King Kong in such a way that he can just basically knock him out. Gets to head level, boom, knocks him out, right? And I think, honestly, if we're all being honest here, we really just would love to see that. I mean, he's so great.
Are you listening, Marvel movie
I know, we have so
makers?
many good brainstorm ideas.
Yeah.
If they...
But I think you guys are being a little unfair. So I'm going to go 98.
98.
All right. So the number we're going to plug into the Fatanometer is 96% chance of victory for the Incredible Hulk. Dave, can you run the machine? Oh! King Kong takes a couple punches, gives back a couple punches. The earth cracks, but down goes Kong. Down goes Kong. Oh man. So Hulk, the winner, as just as we were thinking, his next matchup will be against the winner of our next two contestants. Also, we've got a Colossus in the ring introducing the one, the only Godzilla. And Magneto.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Good thing it's not Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, there's Mechagodzilla. I think this is what it says, right? Mechagodzilla might be at the disadvantage.
Yeah. Have you seen the Godzilla movie? I know we were teasing you, like, man, I got to watch this movie. Have you
The more recent one or the older one?
The more recent one.
Godzilla. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Have you seen it recently, or did you go watch it again?
Not recently.
Okay,
Maybe, a couple years ago or whatever.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It is a good movie. Okay, so here we go. We've got Godzilla, and I was trying to play this out. Like, if I was writing the movie, the script in this, I'm thinking, okay, any human-sized person, I mean, Godzilla could accidentally kill like a million ways just by being in proximity to them, right? He's just so colossally huge, significantly larger than even King Kong, significantly larger than King Kong. And I watched that movie. He like stumbles and down goes a 30-story building, he's just a colossus. And his skin is very, very impenetrable. I mean, big, huge ships are shooting metal bullets at him at extremely high velocity, doing nothing. Missiles blowing up on him, and he's like, what's that? So this is real hard. But so here's what I'm thinking, though. If I'm writing the script to this movie, here's Magneto. His chance to win this, if I'm Magneto, my strategy is attack him from a million ways with throwing metal objects at him. See if I can get something that hurts him, which honestly I don't know if he can. But he doesn't. The advantage that Magneto would have versus almost any other combatant fighting him is Godzilla won't know who's doing it.
Yeah, but
right?
you still need a wing
He could be
right?
standing to the south of Godzilla and pull something from the north to smash Godzilla, and then Godzilla's like, "Who did that?" And he doesn't know where to attack possibly.
But what's the wing condition though for Magneto? Something through the eyeball. He opens his mouth, and that's a little not as armored. You know what I'm saying? A nostril.
Well, I think it's got to be the standard knockout or death type thing, right? So
I still don't know how he does it, because like buildings fall on Godzilla, and what's bigger than a building that Magneto could also pick up and chuck on him? You know what I'm saying? You're right. It's hard.
Like
it's
in that
really
one
hard.
movie, right? He picks up the Golden Gate Bridge. How many times can you hit him with a bridge often enough to finally knock him out? I wonder. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like the Golden Gate Bridge. Say he takes the Golden Gate Bridge, he wraps it around Godzilla to like confine him till he can think of something else to do. Well, in the meantime, Godzilla's going to be throwing a hissy fit in every move, trying to bust out of that thing. If he doesn't break it instantly, he's causing a bazillion earthquakes, all of which could accidentally kill the entire population of anything around him. You know what I'm saying? Like including Magneto.
So this fight would in like a city, right? I feel like would go on forever. Magneto keeps moving around. Godzilla just lumbers around
until he just lumbers the whole thing. Remember, the one thing that I think in my brain, like if he gets the easiest way for Godzilla to get him, whether he does or not, is if he does that radiation roar projection, the breath, and he just does a big sweep, half the field of his vision at a time, and if he just gets Magneto, because that.
I gotta say, I feel like probably Godzilla eventually tires out Magneto, or hits him with some of his his super Godzilla breath. So, but I don't think Magneto's out. Magneto could get. He's pummeling him, and he could hit him in the right way.
This is not a Hulk King Kong ratio.
No,
but Magneto's definitely got more of a puncher's chance than King Kong did, I think. But
who wants to go first on there?
It's Nathaniel's turn to go first. Yeah.
Maybe I've seen too many gory movies. Children avert your ears. But here's what I do if I'm Magneto. I get a piece of building rebar, like skyscraper rebar, that's of significant size but still easy to move around. I go through the nasal cavity, up the passage, and into the brain. And that's how I take out Godzilla. That's my plan.
Okay, monster. So. Oh, that might. I don't know if that would work. I don't know his anatomy, but monsters don't. Things that attack his mouth don't end usually really well. You just say.
Well,
but that could maybe. I don't know. Maybe that would work. If that doesn't work, he's hosed, right?
So I'll call that buying him a 20% chance.
Okay,
that he executes something on that level.
Magneto 20% chance.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything exterior, hitting and stuff like you said, nothing. It's doing nothing.
Yeah. So he's the Colossus of Cloud.
Yeah.
All right, my turn?
Yeah, what chance?
I think I give Magneto a better chance because he is powerful. I mean...
I know. I keep going because I think he lifted the stadium in the newer movies. He lifts the Golden Gate Bridge. He did lift and move the Golden Gate Bridge, but he's doing it slowly. It's not like he's just whipping that around like a bat.
In one X-Men story arc, there was a bullet being fired through space, galaxies away, and he stops it and pulls it back to Earth. Galaxies away. He was able to detect the metal.
Bizarre.
It took him weeks, and it
why on Earth would he? Okay, that's a weird story arc. I don't know. It's because
the whole story arc is, if anybody cares, it's a good story arc. Some aliens fire this giant planet-killing bullet. Kitty Pryde gets inside of it and phases it so she's in the. It's a really cool story because she is saving billions and billions of lives. She keeps that bullet in this unsubstantial state, so it's just passing through planets across these galaxies. That they meant to kill tons of planets with, and she's saving without them ever knowing it. This bullet just passes through it, and she's kind of given up her life. She will stay in that bullet until she dies or until someone can stop it. And then Magneto, to prove that the X-Men can trust him, he spends a week out there meditating to find that bullet and bring it back. And saves Kitty Pryde.
I don't know who Kitty Pryde is, but I'm so glad she's still alive.
She's up in the next movie. She can walk through walls and stuff.
She makes a little teleportation. Oh no, she's the one that can walk through.
Yeah,
walls.
I think in the one movie, right? She's the one that Juggernaut chases and sinks him in the ground or something.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Anyway, so I'm just demonstrating that he's very powerful.
I don't know how that helps, but he is powerful. Yes, he's very powerful. I don't know that helps.
I think I would give Magneto as high as a 40% chance.
All right.
Oh, wow.
All right. Okay. Man, the more we talk... my initial blush before we ever touched it was 75% chance for Godzilla to win. Him being able to focus and find something that is interesting, powerful. I don't know that comes in handy in a fight with Godzilla. I still don't even think with a metal.
I was just demonstrating the power.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is powerful. A wrinkle I wasn't aware of, but even with the rebar to the head, I'm thinking he can't. I've never seen him wield something that big fast enough that I think it could hurt Godzilla. He could do the big thing, but it has to be big and fast to penetrate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's very, and it seems like Godzilla would see something like that. It's hard, right?
I tend to think. So I gave Magneto a little bit higher because I tend to think I don't know of any movies, and I didn't see the most recent one from 3 or 4 years ago or whatever.
The Godzilla one or the Magneto one?
Godzilla, but the Godzilla movie. But it seems I don't recall any movie where he actually loses. He just decides taking the beating is not worth the fight, and he goes back into the ocean or whatever. So I think that's kind of the win. The win, and there is. Maybe just
if we call that,
I don't feel like this fight anymore, and I'm leaving, and then it's kind of a forfeit. He forfeits.
Okay, you think there's a 40% chance Magneto encourages Godzilla to leave?
Just to go, I don't feel this isn't worth my time anymore. I'll just go back. And go.
So my
I'll go back to Tokyo.
I have a splitting headache for some reason, and my nasal passage is I'm getting out of here.
Yeah. Well, maybe
he
does take a really big.
Maybe he could. Maybe Magneto.
He does. Yeah.
Do something
when fatal, he usually doesn't leave until the threat is dead, from what I recall. But I don't recall the old ones well enough to quote that. Just the new one. But I'm more inclined to be along your line, Nathaniel. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna. You talked me up to 78. I was 75. Talking up to 78.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you got to understand. Magneto's probably still mad from losing in the last round as Gandalf. So he's bringing a little extra.
That's true. With him. Is it fair that Ian McKellen gets 2 shots?
That guy passed, but you will not pass.
Yeah.
Okay, so our magic number is 73.
73% chance
for Godzilla to win.
For
Godzilla to win, it's 73% chance.
I'm surprised that there's actually a lot of room for a lot of upsets in here.
I know.
All right,
we're going to get more upsets as this goes along.
We're feeding it into the computer.
Yeah. All right. 73. And Godzilla wins. Magneto, I think we agree, puts up a noble fight. He saves time to save the X-Men to live and fight another day, we'll say. But Magneto goes down in Godzilla.
Who's just turned into a pterodactyl, apparently.
Advances. I didn't have time for a sound drop on that one. All right.
Pterodactyl.
No, wait. This is Godzilla. No, hold on. That's not it. That's not it. Wait, hold on. What is it? No, hold on. This is no.
All right. I love you guys too. All right. You already made fun of me in the last one. Okay. Okay.
I would have dubbed that noise over Godzilla movies just to see how they work out.
All right, this next one, there has been significant interest for generations on this matchup.
Controversial.
Yeah, significant controversy. Undoubtedly, there will be several people upset regardless of which way this next one goes. In all universes, we've got pretty much the headline matchup for the night.
Sarah Palin versus Obama. No, sorry.
Shut up. Kids, don't use that word at home. Superman versus Batman, the son of Krypton versus the Dark Knight. So you may have understood, you may have heard that there was recently a movie that explored this.
Do you bleed?
Do you bleed? Will. Yeah.
I believe in the movie, the round went to Batman, right?
I believe it went to Martha.
It did go to Martha. Anyone who's named Martha, you won tonight.
Yeah, anyone the first one to say Martha. So the difference between our battle here and the movie Dark Knight or Batman vs Superman is here in our pretend arena. They're already consigned to the fact that they are fighting. They're going to fight whoever comes out the gate there to fight against. Whereas in the movie, Superman had no interest in fighting Batman. He's like, just leave me alone and stop being weird and tagging people and being not Batman, being evil, right?
Yeah.
So he's kind of ignoring Batman until he has to pull out the big guns and say, Martha, and then and then survives, right? So now there was a factoid that I was unaware of that Dave brought to my attention about Batman's utility belt.
Batman always carries kryptonite in his utility belt.
Okay. I find that hard to believe because I didn't think Batman was a total jerk. Okay, let me just say, Dave and Nathaniel, love you both. But if I were to tell you I have a deathly bad allergy to peanuts, and I find out that you're carrying around peanuts in your pocket all the time, you're a jerk. I don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Just put that into context for a little bit. These guys are friends, and he's walking around, which I'd never heard that before. If you say it's true, I believe you. But like, wow, Batman's a jerk. He's a terrible friend.
I think some of it comes from that Tower of Babel storyline where Superman gives this to him and says, "If I ever turn bad, you're the one I trust to stop me."
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how we got, because at the end of
that's how Superman thinks he has it.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Because don't ever underestimate how much I am Batman.
Just gonna take this and tuck that in there with the other one.
Yeah, I think it's in the story arc where he goes back and he takes the small piece that Superman gives him and adds it to his huge collection in his vault. He already has this huge of like all the variations of kryptonite. Yeah. He's like, I'll just put that on the shelf next to the vault I have of all these other ones.
Yeah. He's a terrible friend. I'm sorry. I don't want to be friends with Batman.
Dave, it's a normal thing. I mean, I live in a state where people are proud to carry guns around, and it turns out I am allergic to bullets.
Yeah, well, okay, not the same thing, but all right, whatever.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, so whose turn is it to go first? I think Nathaniel's turn to go first, right?
I'm a huge Batman fanboy, but I will say that's something that needs to be put in the mix here.
Yeah, explain this. So again, this is a different scenario than we've seen in the comic books. This is a different scenario than we've seen in the recent movie, right? And it's anyway, they're going to fight, and anyways, go ahead. Yeah, give
the fact that they both know that they're going to fight.
Yeah, and
we've sort of assumed through all of this that there's sort of a willingness to kill, a willingness, to go all out. There's no restraint happening, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's different than any of the matchups that have ever occurred before. Superman is always showing restraint in every matchup, or there's some surprise element, and in this, that factor's not there. Yeah. Superman goes in knowing...
Almost in every fight he does with other people, too, he shows restraint, because if he goes full power, he breaks the planet. Yeah.
So, if he knows that Batman is packing kryptonite, he's gonna rip a piece of rock out of the ground and chuck it at him. He's gonna keep his distance and still be effective, I feel like.
Yeah.
Not to say Batman can't, dodge and isn't prepared in some way.
Do you think, though, that Superman fights fatally? Do you think he tries to fight to put him down, or is he gonna fight humanely?
Well, I think we have
the premise of our thing.
Yeah, we have to assume that he's at least willing to risk it in the context of this fight. That he's going to be far more aggressive than he has in the past.
But you made a good point too, where if there's like some tournament like this going on, Batman would want Superman to win, and go ahead. I don't want to steal your thunder.
In the real, and like if this was being written as a comic book, they would come together, and Batman would say, "Look, hit me. I will take the dive, and then you go." And we will both go take out the bad guy. You go through the front door, and I will sneak out the back door and come into the back door. That's how the comic book would be written.
yeah, right. I think it is totally different that that they, in our scenario here, where they both know that they're fighting and Superman has no reason to hold back or whatever. It's a different scenario. I love I had to look it up. One of my favorite quotes is, I've done lots of sports. I was a captain of my wrestling team. I did karate. I did football. And, we've got a plan to psych up or to mediate my teammates. I would say, look, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Right? They might be the better team. They might have a plan to beat us. We might have a plan to beat them. But once we get punched in the mouth, what are we going to do then? Yeah. Right? And I had to look up who actually said that. I thought it was like
Abraham Lincoln.
I thought it was like somebody awesome. Turns out it was Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson. Yeah, Mike Tyson. And I remembered it was Mike Tyson because some guy had a plan skill wise. Mike Tyson was in his prime, unbeatable. Nobody got out of the first 2 rounds of Mike Tyson. He just clobbered everybody. But anyways, everyone had the plan to take a punch in the mouth. That's how it would have sounded coming out of it. So a plan, yeah. Anyways, taking that all into account, a plan doesn't mean a plan goes right. In the arc that you just had me read, what's that story arc that you just had me read?
Long Halloween.
The Long Halloween, and then I've read the Night of Owls. Court of Owls. Thank you. There's a couple of graphic novels I read there that were very good Batman stuff. Batman has great plans, but the good villain, like the Joker, who they screw up his plans left and right. Batman also screws up their plans, but things don't always go according to plan. So Batman makes the best plans, right? That's kind of like his thing. But still, they don't always go according. But anyways, we gotta get to the fatology part of it. No feelings will be hurt. So in our scenario, Nathaniel, where do you put the number, bud?
Superman's more aggressive. He tries to keep his distance. However, Batman has also, that's one of the scenarios he's planned for. So I got to give a little bit of fanboy edge just to maintain my honor and street cred. So
screw my brain, screw my heart, screw my brain, listen to my heart.
51 for Batman.
Okay. 51.
49 for Superman.
All right.
Who's up next?
You're up next.
The guy across the table wearing a Batman shirt.
Wearing a Batman shirt.
Where it looks like Batman does bleed. Remember, Superman returns the line in Justice League, which I did just rewatch. And I was able to look past the terrible mustache. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the movie. I really did.
So,
do you bleed?
Yeah, I have a hard time with this too. I did
Batman would never allow this scenario to happen to him.
I did a lot of reading on the internest about Batman and versus different situations. It's sort of universally accepted that if Batman has even a few hours to plan, he has a 99% chance of winning it versus anybody.
Yeah,
that was kind of, but not having a chance to plan.
I don't know if even his plan, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but even his plan to defeat Superman the first time, I don't think he would have given himself 99% chance my plan's going to win to beat Superman. He psyched himself up. I'm going to win. I'm going to beat Superman. But I don't know that he would have given himself those odds. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that was his first time going against Superman. No, in the comics, he's fought him probably 4 or 5 times. At this point, he's probably I feel like I can do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. See, that's why I ask these questions. Okay. So, sorry to interrupt you, bud.
He's bragging to whatever. Yeah, superhero female, I'm sure. Yeah, I take Superman all the time. What are you talking about?
Yeah. to coax Catwoman into his cave. Yeah.
Right. I think I got to sort of go down Nathaniel's road. You have to remember, the kryptonite is a huge weakness for Batman, or for Superman. It's a huge, he's been taken down multiple times with just such a little amount, right? Okay. He turns into he becomes weaker than a normal human.
All right.
But like I said, he can.
If he knows it's
Superman,
coming,
he doesn't know it's coming. I'm saying this he doesn't know because Batman doesn't wear a sign like "This is my kryptonite pouch" like that.
They're all yellow.
But he knows
that one green.
But he
one.
knows,
Yeah, exactly.
But he knows Batman knows his weakness, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Superman also has a plan and a brain. He's like, well, I have Batman. It's time for me to run straight at him in a predictable fashion.
Superman knows what Batman wants him to know.
All right, we'll give your number. Whatever. I mean, a lot of people feel like this about Batman, so it's fine.
It's hard to overrate to rate too much over Superman's just abilities. I don't know if I want to go 51-49 or just 50-50.
Yeah. You were before we started the podcast saying how much you hate how powerful Superman is.
I do hate it, but I can't deny
can't hold that
they've
against
written it.
him.
I mean,
Don't
I
hold
just
that
it irks
against
me.
him.
I always go to like the. We're dragging this out a little bit. I always go to the anytime like, oh, this in this scenario you need to be able to see to Mars to beat this superhero. Oh, I can do that too. I can see to Mars. I can do that.
Yep.
Oh, now you need to be able to see.
So in this scenario, he
atoms.
needs to
I
be
can do that.
super strong and fast. Oh, he does have that.
Yeah, he also needs to. He also needs to get rid of that pesky kryptonite vulnerability. That's more.
He can do that too.
Yeah, I'm sure he can. I thought about it for a few minutes.
So come on.
I'll go 50-50.
All right, so 50-50. I think Superman already has everything he needs to beat Batman. It's not even a close contest. If he in our scenario, before Batman is so fast, before he can reach for his utility belt or whatever his plan is, I think Superman will defeat Batman. That is my honest thing. So I put it at 97. Superman chance for victory. If you think you put your head into Superman as much as you guys are putting your head into Batman,
Let the world record that David hates Batman.
Let me just give everybody out there a really quick, deep cut Batman anecdote to illustrate where this is coming from. Okay?
All right.
Your average person may not know this, but there is a story arc written by Grant Morrison in which Batman is driven completely to a psychotic break. Madness. Complete madness. He's lost in his own mind. Totally gone. And you find out in that story that he even planned for that and psychologically built a sort of alter ego.
He built a third personality.
Yes.
In his brain.
To bring himself back. That's the extent of this man's planning. Okay, go ahead with your ridiculous odds.
Let me say this also.
Okay.
In the DC
Batman's
universe,
if
Superman
powers drive you crazy, doesn't that drive you a little bit crazy about
No.
Batman? I mean,
It drives me crazy, but not the way you're talking.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Superman calls Batman the most dangerous person on the planet.
And I want to say when Batman, he says, what is the contingency, when everyone gets mad at Batman for having a contingency plan, he has a contingency plan to stop Green Lantern, he has a contingency plan to stop Wonder Woman, Flash, and Superman. Well, what about you? And he says, the contingency plan to stop me is?
The Justice
Superman. That is the contingency plan to stop Batman. Own it. That
All
is
right.
a fact. His own contingency plan.
Doesn't mean it's a good plan.
Okay. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So the magic number is 65. The exact same odds.
Of course, he sets a plan for himself not to lose.
Whatever.
Oh,
Okay, so it's the same odds as Luke and Obi-Wan. So this upset.
All right.
Either way can happen. So 65 is the number for Superman. to
Feeding
win.
the data into the computer, to the Bat computer.
Superman wins. Yep.
Hold on, what was the percent chance again?
It was
Oh,
65%
yes.
Superman, and
Yeah.
and the camera came out at 50. So
Sad
Son of
day.
Krypton, Batman takes a dive for Superman. However you want to spell it out in your brain, Superman has advanced. Son of Krypton proceeds.
Which Batman planned for, and he sneaks around.
Exactly. That was part of his plan, exactly.
That's right.
Ooh, we had like a whole episode of when we did Thor versus Hulk who would win. We really could do like a whole episode.
Oh yeah,
we would drive each other insane.
We're going to get to the final match, and Obi-Wan's going to peel back his face, and it was Batman the whole time.
And the whole time,
Suddenly I feel
What we don't know is
suddenly
that-
I feel better about that upset. Yeah.
while we're paying attention to Superman going to the next round, Batman sneaking into where we are right now to end this contest.
Yeah. What happened to the lights? All right, who do we got next?
Okay, so our next one is a very good one, and we're gonna have to tease this one. Maybe introduce a character. I had a lot of questions from the fans about one of the contestants here, well known in the DC universe. Our next contestants are Shazam and Emperor Palpatine. So Shazam, I think we
also called Captain Marvel.
Also called Captain Marvel, better known as Shazam. Even DC keeps referring. Anyways,
Yeah, because
Shazam
he yells
is
the word
word.
Shazam.
Yeah, and it goes from a young boy and turns into someone essentially Superman. Becomes basically Superman without the kryptonite weakness, right?
Yeah.
Is that a good summary?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
He's got the speed of Mercury. I forget whichever speed god. It's all sort of the mythology based powers.
This is
the
like a
strength
magic
of Hercules,
thing. It's not like a
the
ring.
wisdom of Solomon.
Yeah.
The strength of the speed of Mercury or Hermes or
Whatever.
something.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Name a Greek god that's cool, and they give him.
And he's got all the powers of it.
So it's kind of weird that he doesn't play a bigger role in the DC universe, but
It's a shame because I really like the character.
yeah, it's a good for kids because this is like, what if you, little kid, get to be a hero, right?
Yeah.
But there is the upcoming movie of Shazam,
Yes.
which I'm super excited about. I hope they do him right. I hope Superman makes an appearance in there and Shazam knocks him out cold.
This is for Batman.
Exactly.
Bam!
Batman said, "Give you this." Bang.
Haters gotta hate over here. Dang. Okay, so
That is canon in a comic. Shazam
mustache
knocks out
is
Superman
stupid.
cold.
and he's been knocked out by Superman. They knock each other. I mean, they're really a good.
You don't know that. You don't know if Shazam's ever been knocked out by Superman.
Whatever. Okay, so we have now Emperor's hit list consists of an entire galaxy.
Nothing major.
Nothing major. He's taken over a galaxy under the nose of very powerful Jedi. Right? It doesn't get more devious than Emperor Palpatine. No slouch in hand-to-hand combat, taking out several Jedi Masters before being held to a stalemate by Mace Windu. And then finished off by, of course, Darth Vader and Luke together there at the end of Return of the Jedi. So he is a powerful and exceedingly conniving dude. Can he crack the? I mean, how does Shazam is clearly not invincible? I mean, he loses in comics. He doesn't rule planet Earth. I mean, how do we stop Shazam in any of the story arcs? Do you guys know?
Is he affected by Force lightning?
I don't think lightning can hurt Shazam. Lightning is actually sort of one of the things he uses. He uses his lightning against other people. A lightning bolt hits him and he turns into Shazam, and he will use that against other people. Sometimes if they try to bear hug him, he calls down lightning and it affects the people, not him. So
I did not know that.
I don't know if Force lightning differs, but
different, I guess. I'm guessing it doesn't feel
my
good,
book,
but I don't know that it's fatal blow, right?
I say the lightning is probably just the buzzing of flies to him.
All right, okay. But guy did. I mean, we're not as clever as Batman or some of these other guys to figure out how they would do it, but we can trust that they wouldn't go down easy. I don't think. Can we give some of that street cred to the Emperor from his years of experience? I mean,
well, yes, I think the wisdom of Solomon negates.
If he had the wisdom of Solomon, then Batman's completely irrelevant in the Justice League. They say he has it, but he never displays it.
Solomon never went up against a Sith Lord. Come on.
That is true.
Yeah.
I cannot. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I think I have a hard time. So to me, I tend to think Shazam has the advantage.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think,
describing.
how can the Emperor stop Shazam? And I can't really think of a way that the Emperor could even stop him slow him down. I mean, he might be able to slow him down, but I don't think he can stop him.
Is Shazam? I don't want to get off track. Is he even an interesting character? Or is he just invincible and there's like a Mary Sue but a boy? You know what I'm saying? Is there Superman? He's got the love interest. He's got all this going on. Is there anything interesting about Shazam's character? Sort of, I'm invincible and I'm here. And I was a kid 10 seconds ago before lightning hit me.
I like the character and I feel like there's potential there, but they rarely ever use him.
Because the versions, I haven't seen many in comic book, or I'm not super familiar with them, but when he is Captain Marvel or says Shazam, he's still a kid. He's not, he has the body, so he doesn't know, social awkwardness, he doesn't know how to talk to a woman, perhaps, per se. Yeah. He doesn't look like, oh, shucks, but he, you know what I'm saying? He's still got the soul
ranges,
of a kid.
I think some of the older ones, he's like a 8 or 10-year-old. Some of the newer ones, it's almost like they've moved him up to a teenager, even young adult, like a 18 or 19.
Yeah. So just the fragility mentally, I think the Emperor could, do Jedi mind tricks. I don't see how he could literally get in his head and really mess him up that way. I mean, the Emperor would find
even something as simple as
that only works on the what's the
weak-minded. I think a little kid come on.
But he's not the little kid anymore. It's Shazam.
But he is a little kid. That's what I'm saying. The versions I've seen of him, he's still a little kid in a grown up body. Like that's how they make him a little bit interesting still. You know what I'm saying? That's in the versions I've seen.
I don't know.
Even something as simple as him underestimating the Emperor, I could see that. Him going into the fight, feeling like, I've totally got that. I just have this vision in my head of him sort of like charging at the Emperor and then some kind of like forced blowback and then a lightsaber strike or something like that. Like,
I feel like that's one of the to me, the interesting characteristics of Shazam is that he tends to underrate himself. He tends to see himself as not as powerful. That. Yeah. So my thought goes in. I don't know. Yeah. What was your thought?
You said something about a lightsaber. I think like for those relatively invincible bodies, like Hulk and Superman and stuff like that. And I was thinking this. I think a lightsaber doesn't cut those bodies like it does metal. Other things you see it, but it would in my brain the way it hurts them like a regular sword hurts me. Like a lightsaber would slice through me with zero effort. A real sword could really, really hurt me and cut me and kill me, like it's done for thousands of years. That's how in my brain, I see a lightsaber kind of being like that. It can chop him, it can kill him, but it's not like sneeze kill, like lightsaber is everything else. That's how in my brain. That's how I'm putting it.
Sure.
Look, I'm going to get right to it. Shazam, 98% chance.
Woo!
Okay.
I'm going to throw some upset numbers in there. And
wait, it's Shazam 98. So he's the okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Shazam 65.
Really? Okay.
Due to hubris and underestimating this frail old man.
So that is the exact. I've tried to put in numbers before. I think the getting in the Jedi mind tricking the head, force, but his ability to use the lightsaber. I think I don't want to be contrary, but I kind of underestimated the fact that he's really good with his lightsaber too.
Well, that goes back to win condition for me. There has to be, like Spider-Man, like the win condition. That to me is the win condition. He at least has a weapon capable of hurting
him. I think the lightsaber, it's got to hurt. There's no way it doesn't feel bad. So I still think with that power set, I'm gonna give if he can. It depends how bad that first hit when he realizes it works, hurts, how much he has left. I think I'm gonna give the edge to Shazam. Still, I'm gonna go 60. 60%.
Yeah, they're severely underestimating Shazam.
I don't know him very well, but what I do know, I think
powerful character.
He is. I agree, but I think his weakness, the fact that he's still a child in a powerful body, is a weakness that the Emperor is uniquely capable at exploiting. Although I'm still saying Shazam has the odds to win, so it's not like I disagree with you wholeheartedly on that one. So, all right, so our magic number is 74% chance for Shazam to win. Dave,
right, into the computer.
And the number spit out is a victory for Shazam. The galaxy has been freed. The Ewoks are dancing. Akbar's trying out his moves on the dance floor. And who needs Luke anyways? Right? Who needs Luke anyways? We have Shazam.
Shazam.
All right. All right, we got to start hustling through these next ones here, boys. The next one is
impossible to hustle through.
Impossible to hustle through.
I think this one might go pretty quick, actually, much to my chagrin.
Okay, so now we have the Odin's son, Thor, in the ring, arms folded, and then enters the ever controversial but well loved anyways, Deadpool.
Merc with a mouth.
Merc with a mouth. So Thor versus Deadpool. It's my turn to go first. Sure, I haven't gone first, right? Okay, so if I think Thor's weakness is bad writing. That's I think Thor's weakness is. Okay, so now we said classic Thor. We're not talking Odin's Thor, and I'll even go back just a smidge hair back from one of the favorite storylines where he's able to literally resurrect other Asgardians and bring them back to life after. I want to go. Thinking of a Thor less than that, right? Okay. Less powerful than that. But his weakness, when I say bad writing, is he consistently just dives right into. He likes that honorable fight. Let's go toe to toe and fight. When his power to project force and damage is off the charts, and he does not have to let anyone touch him. When you can just think and make a hurricane occur on the other side of a planet, like You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's not how he fights. So that's what I'm saying. His weakness is, bad riding. I'm going to go run up to everybody and fight him.
Yeah.
A little bit of strategy would go a long way. But a lot of what you were saying about, the Deadpool story history, fans love him. Killing is what he does. I cannot go Thor lower than I don't think, because even in a first Avengers movie, remember Loki jumps out of the portal and all the SHIELD agents are there and they're shooting with guns and the bullets are just bouncing off Loki, right? And Thor is way more powerful and invulnerable than Loki is. So, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of those are the types of weapons that Deadpool, those are his go-to weapons. So I think 93 is the 7% chance for Deadpool to win is about the most chance I can give Deadpool, trusting your guys' love for him, because I don't. That's me erring on the side.
If I
you want to go next? Sure.
I'll just say so. As much as I love the character of Deadpool, but he just doesn't. I feel have a. Especially now, there is a storyline. Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, and in there he also kills Thor. But that's what he kind of had some crazy plan that ended up weaponizing Mjolnir back at Thor, and it kills Thor with that. So.
Which wouldn't, the way he does it, he wouldn't have
to do that.
He wouldn't have the access because he stole some of what was it, Hank Pym or Ant-Man's weapons stuff and used it. So he wouldn't have access to it here.
So,
but in comics book, everybody's killed everybody at one point. That's how
it's sort of established too that somewhat to some degree that Deadpool is kind of a Thor fanboy.
Oh, really?
So I think he would just let Thor win the fight.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Another reason to get him into the MCU.
Everybody has a crush on Thor. He's so good looking, even with those baby arms.
They did a Deadpool team up line of comics, and he teamed up with Thor one time, and the whole time he's totally man crushing all over Thor, and he's even trying to talk like him. He's the whole time, anytime they get into a fight, he's to me my guns, like that, and then he pulls his guns, starts shooting. It's hilarious. Like that.
All right, well, did I undersell it then? What do you think?
No, I'm not. I have to give Thor. I just don't know.
I hate going for it. I don't want you guys to be influenced.
I have to give Thor an over 90% chance, because I think Deadpool's chance are in the 10% at best. I give Thor 91% chance.
91%. Okay, so we were thinking about the same. Okay, I don't know Deadpool. So I was trying to factor in how much you guys were praising Deadpool last round to try and be legit.
I mean, against non-gods, he's pretty formidable. But against someone like that,
it seems I
have a hard time.
And the fact that he can kind of keep getting back up too.
Yeah, Deadpool. I mean, last round against a tiny green Muppet, that's no contest. But this time,
don't say that to my kid.
It's a god. It's an Asgardian. So I'm gonna go 90-10 as well for Thor.
For Thor. So 90% chance. Okay, so
it's well established that Yoda cannot take a punch, right?
Oh my gosh!
And
well, come on, I got 2 brain cells still working tonight. Please stop. Please stop. All right. So the percent chance, our composite number for Thor is 91%. 91% chance for Thor. Let's put that into
the computinator.
The computinator. Holy crap! It's really thinking about it. And Thor wins. All right. Alrighty. I don't know that my heart could have taken my other favorite character dying after Luke died. So the fates have smiled upon
let's
me.
See. Yeah, Thor has some rough competition in the next one. He may not survive the next round.
His half of the bracket is mean. It's just mean. Our last round for the night. We are not going to go quietly into the night, but we will go fighting. We've got 2 Colossuses. The Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Vader, versus one of the Trinity of DC, the one, the only, Wonder Woman. So, interesting fact, we kind of made fun of the bracelet, the bracers that she wears in the
playing them in the movies.
Dave, tell me clue in the fans here about those bracers. We thought that was a machination, but it's
some research about preparing for some of this and reading up, and apparently that is a real sort of a thing that she can do in the comics. They've established she can apparently, and those bracers can do a lot more. Even I think she can summon weaponry made from. They can do more than even that. They haven't even tapped what they can do in the movies, so they can. Wow. She has a very formidable arsenal of weaponry
and I thought all of these weapons were within the last 10 years of Wonder Woman like power creep.
No,
but
they
you're,
have
but
been
you're
around a
telling me
while.
that some of this is old. Like
some of this is like Silver Age Wonder Woman type stuff. It's been there for a while. Like I think it was a long time ago.
Big news to me.
I was telling Nathaniel today, like one of the things I was reading is it's sort of a ridiculous statement, but the writers who just thought maybe this, like you said, it just sounded cool that her sword is so sharp it can shave the electrons off an atom.
What? Huh?
So ridiculous.
That's when you love the ingenuity and creativity of comic writers, but you're also like, you really lack basic understanding of science.
I think any physicist would disagree. Whatever.
But okay. All right. So Darth Vader, again, I guess going back to what you said about the lightsaber, and I think the same thing I was saying with Emperor and Shazam, I'm thinking has to apply here. The saber would do damage to Wonder Woman, not hot knife through butter, but like a sword would be to a human body. I'm thinking on that paradigm thought.
I think though Wonder Woman's enhanced. I mean, she's a master strategist. She's well trained, probably one of the best trained in any comic universe fighters. Just at being
Really?
in battle. Oh yeah.
Because she was alive for a long time, right? But she was on the island only sparring.
Raised from the cradle as a warrior.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, is that always? She was raised as to be an ambassador. Like she's supposed to be an ambassador.
Well,
that's
kind of one and the same. Like they knew they're Amazons. They trained to fight.
Well, okay. Her training, obviously, thousands of years. She's going to be no slouch in her skills.
But she can move.
But there is a huge
really
difference
fast.
between sparring and then the real thing.
Yeah,
there is a huge difference where someone like I don't know who's been actually fighting to the death for a long time. I don't know. I'm having a hard time thinking of someone real fighting. Because look, I did karate, I did wrestling, I did all sorts of violence. I fought with my brother. You know, pretending is different than the real thing. You know, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Trust me, getting punched in the mouth is hard to then keep your focus after that. It hurts, okay?
Yeah.
So, But anyway, yeah. I'm not taking anything away from her.
I agree with that, but I mean,
you can't say Vader's I mean, he's very, very trained by the best, right? Trained by the light side, then corrupted by the dark side, master of all evil. Force choke, force throw, force all these different things. He's got a weapon that can make a killer blow on her. So this isn't like a cream.
I don't think Vader can even touch Wonder Woman.
You don't think so, huh? Dave goes to the extreme. Surprise.
Shocker.
Nathaniel, I think it's your turn to go first. What's your take on the matchup, though? I mean,
I love Vader. He's awesome, especially in Rogue One. You've seen that.
Well, I love Darth Vader too. I mean, I don't.
But let me tell you how this fight goes down. He steps out. He's ominous. He's got the breathing. She whips him with the lasso. He immediately breaks down in front of the stadium, in front of people, talking about how he hates the prequel trilogy. He was misrepresented. How he would have won if he had the higher ground. It was an unfair advantage. And he literally loses and dies from embarrassment. That's what happens.
I agree.
I love you so much right now, Nathaniel. You are a brilliant, handsome man. I love that.
There's no way that he'd be, I mean, it's... I have a hard time
99 or
even doing
100%?
90-10, right? Like, I mean, it's like, it's like 90.
Really? Holy.
Yeah, because I mean, it just,
All right.
it's, yeah.
All right.
I think I do this.
So hold on. So, sorry, 10% chance Vader wins? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I think I do. No, Wonder Woman wins. 90% chance Wonder Woman wins, right?
You said 90-10, so you said 10% Vader wins, right?
10% Vader wins. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm even doubting 10. But
Yeah,
we'll say 10. Sure.
I'm gonna go 98% chance Wonder Woman wins.
Really? Okay. All right.
Read her Wikipedia, people. She is a force to be reckoned with.
I don't know. I've never been that much of a fan of Wonder Woman. I am a huge fan of the Star Wars universe to represent. Yeah. I gave sorry, I put that in backwards in our calculation. So you give Vader only a 2% chance of beating
2% chance,
even with the lightsaber and force throwing.
I think she's so agile and so fast. He doesn't have a chance. He doesn't even have a chance to see what's coming.
So here's the thing too with the whole like super speed part. I think in extended universes, like Force users have super speed. That's how they're able to fight. And in the movie, you're watching it in real time. In movies, they describe that you're watching it in their speed. Right?
I don't know that Vader has.
So, but they have to. When you think about it, if you can block a laser bolt, you have to be faster than a laser bolt. So you have to have that fast of a reflex to, and not only move that fast, but precisely move that fast. So I think that gives, especially a peak level Force user, better footing than the average Joe against someone that also has super speed. So as I was trying to think this one out, so I came to a vastly different number than you guys, but I think Vader actually has a 68% chance of beating Wonder Woman. So,
wow.
Anyways, he's been around a lot less longer than Wonder Woman, but his street cred is who's got better street cred as far as killing people than Vader. I mean, that's where I put it.
So what does that break our average out at?
So
I don't know though. I think if you pit like battles fought, Wonder Woman has defeated much more powerful people than Vader has, but that's fine.
Well, he keeps defeating Jedi. I don't know. Maybe. But that's what we're here for, to average each other out.
You know what? When I think about the Star Wars movies, we're getting off topic a little bit, but I feel like Star Wars writers hate Jedi because they never show them in a great light. But.
Yeah. Especially since don't get me started. All right. So the magic number for Vader to win is 27. He's only got a 27% chance.
27% chance? That's interesting. Interesting tidbit. Gal Gadot versus James Earl Jones, same odds.
James Earl Jones would be like, I haven't had this pretty of a woman this close to me in such a long time.
What about Linda Carter versus James Earl Jones?
Also, same response. I haven't had a woman this beautiful, this close to me in such a long time.
Okay, into the computer.
Here we go.
27% chance for Vader victory. And he loses to Wonder Woman. Right? No. How does this work again? Oh, he did. Holy crap! He upset. Even without my factor, he would have won. That was a miracle roll.
Unbelievable.
So Vader won?
Vader upset.
Oh, that's
Holy cow! Holy cow! All right. Well, there's been some. This was an episode full of heartbreak. I didn't even believe it when I saw it.
I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
In a way, in my head, I sort of had Wonder Woman in the final.
Yeah. Well, I had Luke not going out this early either. Yeah. So there's a lot of crying people. Hey, everybody out there, we're so glad that you joined us for this episode. We have a lot of fun doing this. We give our odds, we leave it up to fate, and we roll it. It's just like any tournament in playoffs, where you're talking NFL or the actual March Madness, upsets happen all the time. There's always next year. Oh, thank goodness Luke isn't actually dead. Who would actually kill Luke? That would be so stupid.
Obi-Wan would do what he had to do. That's all I'm saying.
No, that was the Last Jedi reference, my friend.
Yeah,
not Obi-Wan. Okay, couldn't have lost to a better guy. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We will tune in next time. We are down to the Elite 8, and the tournament's only going to get tighter, more nail biter in each episode, each matchup. See you soon.
Bye.